Hello and welcome to my reflection video as we take a walk through the park of urban environments and ducks. Within Canada, there are many beautiful natural environments: the tundra, the temperate rainforest, Arctic reefs, and more. The beauty and respect for these landscapes are reflected in the landscaping of the urban forest in Halifax. Halifax is surrounded by multiple small urban forests. This ranges from the single trees and flowers found on the sidewalk to Point Pleasant Park. However, as we learned in our laboratory presentations this term, these areas are under stress from many biotic factors. The audio from Science Research Sheldrake, which is the song Evening Chorus of Sheldrake, reminds me of urban ecosystems. This audio playing in the background reminds me of how the trees is about to close on a lovely spring day. The birds are singing and the flowers are blooming. A sense of gratefulness is in the air as you rediscover the sounds you once knew. Yet they also have an undertone of danger. The constant deep mourn displays a wake-up call to the dangers encroaching on these environments and how they are threatened by human Like natural ecosystems, urban forests also have a habitat to offer and niches to fill. These include the sheldrake, shell ducks, in the sheldrake audio. Fun fact, sheldrake was named after this particular duck. These ducks are found across Europe, Asia, North Africa, and between the Arctic Circle. There are 5 recognized populations, totaling at 500,000 in total. However, within urban forests, stresses such as crowding and population limits are felt more than other areas. Organisms can only live where the conditions and resources permit a positive population growth. However, as populations grow, resources for individuals decreases. Parks quickly have less resources of food, water, light, and nest sites when the populations increase. This can cause competition between species. Competition is when 2 species compete for the same resource, and one species goes to carrying capacity and monopolizes all the resources, and the other is eliminated. Hence, the loser has to adapt new strategies to avoid competition. Indeed, the common sheldrake are birds that have very interesting adaptations to help it compete against other duck species. Some adaptations include reproducing and laying eggs in foxes' holes, or flying at night at high heights above sea level, whilst other ducks have been found to fly during the day and sea level. They also migrate in summer from mid-June to early August to large estuaries. Green 2023 describes this as catastrophic, as when they arrive at the estuaries, they mount all their feathers at once and are stranded for a month. Yet, Green 2023 states if an immature duck can make it through this mount migration, then its chances of survival are much higher for the next 5 to 10 years. The mount migration displays that ducks have a juvenile survivorship curve, or type 1. This is something we learned about in class. that different species have different rates of death and survival. Either there are low mortalities in youth and more in older generations, like humans, or species can have constant rates of death, or, like the ducks, they can have high mortality in youth and lower rates in older generations. This information is important for conservation purposes, as it allows us to support animals with high youth mortalities, like these ducks, to survive into the future generations. Furthermore, when I was listening to the audio clip and also walking through Point Pleasant Park, this made me reconsider the processes we learnt in class of secondary succession and soil decomposition. Now, as I walk through the trees, I can see these processes at play. After disturbances, ecosystems are initially reset to pioneer stages. Then, the fast-growth trees will grow until they are replaced by slow-growth, shade-tolerant trees. In boreal forests in Canada, you are dominated by conifers and deciduous tree types. Underneath the trees is the process of nitrification, where organic matter, with the aid of bacteria, produces an inorganic form of nitrogen that plants can then use for nutrients. In this process of nitrification, ammonia, NH3, turns into NH2. Whilst walking through Point Pleasant Park while listening to Sheldrake's music is pleasant, Sheldrake used endangered bird species for a reason. He theorizes that memory is inherent in nature. Sheldrake states that he hopes that this music serves as a wake-up call. This is indicated by the constant booming in the background, a sound Sheldrakes use when they are warning about danger. This is a danger sign towards humans as well, that we need to start changing our ways to become more sustainable. One way of doing this is by incorporating Mi'kmaq's guiding practices two-eyed seeing, where you combine Indigenous and Western ways of knowledge. Areas that have already done this include New Zealand, and the results have been astounding. Already, they have introduced customary fishing reserves and re-established new populations by translocation. Rayne ETL hopes that other places will do this too. Thus, Sheldrake's audio clip has allowed me to reflect on some vital concepts of competitive exclusion, survivorship curves, the processes of soil nitrification, and succession. This audio has also invoked me to understand the biotic interactions which Sheldrakes have, and also serve as a warning to wake up. Hopefully we can wake up soon and include more sustainable practices within our urban forests, such as two-eyed seeing. I would also like to thank my TA Peter and my lab instructor Dr. Alison Schmidt this term, who have helped me out along the way, as well as acknowledge that this was filmed on unsurrendered Mi'kmaq land. These are my references that I used. Thank you very much for listening.